the scrolling chat, where you can see the chat from all three places I stream on my feed, is not working. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm having all three chats open on I have Twitch, Kick, YouTube, all open on my other monitor. I'm not going to be reading the Fish Tank live chat, but if you are a Fish Tank live person, and you're watching on Fish Tank Live, wait, hold on, you will be able to interrupt my conversation with Scott with TTSs. Now, there are fish toys available, but the fish toys will not be activated until after I'm done talking to Scott. And for all I know, I'm going to talk to Scott all night. So, worst case scenario, I don't get to activate the fish toys, and you'll get refunded if you buy a fish toy. But TTSs will go off, and I don't think I'm even going to set it to auto approve, actually. I think I'm going to set it to manual approve, you think I should set it to auto approve so we get interrupted, or manual approve so that I'm like, oh wait, here's a TTS. How do you think I should do it?
I don't know. I mean, if you want to set it to auto approve, that'll probably be more fun, you know.
Okay. Here we go. So, Scott, I met Scott, I believe, in 2017, and I was in active contact with him through 2019. So that's about 2 years. We fell out of contact a little bit before the first season of Fish Tank, so I had no idea that he was involved. And when I saw a picture of Scott on, I think it was the season one like cast collage, season 2 cast collage thing. I thought, hey, is it that guy? Am I allowed to refer to you by your old internet handle or no?
Yeah. You could just call me like
Is that Chest?
Yeah.
Is that freaking Chest? No, that can't be Chest. You have to understand that face blindness is a spectrum, so I'm not as good at remembering faces as some people, but I don't have complete face blindness. I thought, even though I'd seen this guy in person like maybe 7 or 8 times, and had webcam chat with him more times than that, I didn't know for sure that it was him. I suspected it, and then I immediately shrugged off the hunch and then forgot about it. I forgot that I even had the hunch until after season 4, when Scott contacts me and goes, hey, Aryeh, it's me, Chest. I'm like, what? So Chest actually sent me some encouraging TTSs while I was in Fish Tank season 4, and I was concerned. I was concerned because the last time I spoke to him, he was living almost in squalor. He was doing better than I was, but not by much. He lived on his own, so in that sense, at least, I don't know about finances, but in the social sense, he was doing better than me. So I was thinking, oh my God, this guy does not have the money to be spending. I don't even know how much TTSs were this season 4. I heard through the grapevine they could have been as much as $50 each. And he sent me, 3 TTSs because I missed one of them? And I was like, oh God, no. I'm like, I didn't do that on the stream. I was doing it internally because I didn't want to embarrass you. But I was like, hey, listen, you probably shouldn't be spending so much money on TTSs. I was saying it more like that. But I really appreciate hearing from you. I had no idea that you had a full-time job and I forgot to ask if I could say that you're married, but
yeah, no, everybody knows I'm married.
And a wife like that, because you were living in near squalor and you were a MGTOW. So this is in the time since we'd stopped talking, you'd done a complete 180 on your life. And I stayed in pretty much the exact same place. Hopefully that's changing. I've yet to find out if it's going to change. I'm taking the first steps right now, and I hope that this Fish Tank audience will be a part of that. But yeah, I was blown away. And oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's funny because like you say I was living in squalor, and like I can't even disagree. Like I was living in a rooming house with like a bunch of drunks and like literal crack smokers and shit like that. But like I look back at those times and I'm like, man, I miss that. You know, it's funny how it's funny how you like sometimes when you're under the gun, it's like the best times of your life and stuff like that. But yeah, like I don't know. Times change. I'm still obviously I'm not a MGTOW anymore. I got married and stuff like that. But yeah, like actually, funny enough, I didn't actually move out of the rooming house. What happened was it caught fire. The room next to mine caught fire while I was at work. I was working overnights at the time, and I had to go home. I had guinea pigs, and I had to collect my guinea pigs, which had gotten out of the cage because they kicked in the door of my room to like spray it down with water just in case. And like I had to get the guinea pigs and I moved back in with my parents. And shortly after that is when I met my wife. I think like 6 months after that is when I met my wife. She's from Brazil. I met her the day she got off the plane actually.
Well, was she already a citizen?
No, she wasn't a citizen. She's actually applying for citizenship right now. It was a situation where like it wasn't 90 Day Fiance or anything like that. It was not that. She's not a mail order. She's not a mail order. All right, but
Trying to do an OU pose. OU.
yeah, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, like it was a situation where like she was coming to America because she was going to donate a kidney to her sister who was here married already. And she was going to stay here for like, multiple months. So she was like, well, I guess I might as well know somebody when I'm there. So we met online. And then, she came here and COVID hit like a week later. So all we had to do was just spend time with each other. And because of that, we got to know each other real quick, and one thing led to another. Here we are now.
I I'm happy for you, but also I have a question. How do you know she isn't just after the green card?
Well, she's had a green card for multiple years now. And you
Oh,
don't need to actually be married. Well, like once you start the green card process, you don't actually need to be married to continue the green card process. You can be separated or even divorced. Um, and you don't even need to be married to get the citizenship if you so please. It definitely helps if like you have a husband around, but also like this is the state of Massachusetts. Even under Trump's presidency, like they hand those things out like candy to anybody all the time. Um, so it's a situation where it's like, well, for one thing, I don't think anyone can ever know anything about anyone. Nobody knows what's inside anybody else's head or heart, but I'm reasonably sure because I think she probably would be sick of me enough to the point where she'd be like, I want to go somewhere else now. I'm leaving you. I think if that was gonna happen, it would have happened by now.
someone in my YouTube chat says my mic's cutting in and out. This is why it's good that we're both streaming. I have tech.
Mm.
I have tech issues. I don't think I have any mods tonight, but whatever happens, it won't be that bad because we have a backup. We have you. Oh, it's good. Okay, we have a backup, and that's your copy. Actually, the chat plugin on my stream crashing is kind of a blessing because now if anyone says anything ban worthy, it won't actually show up in the video. But
Ah, that's good then.
but yeah, I have not gotten married. I have had some experience with women, but not that much. I don't know whether or not I could be classified as an incel, but I do know that I was never part of the whole manosphere thing. I always found it creepy and manipulative. It's very easy to find. I'm looking for the politically correct term here. It's hard, but it's relatively easy to find actually unbiased data about um, differences between ethnic groups. Finding difference information on differences between the sexes, it it's weird because it's so much harder, even though it's more socially acceptable to talk about. People don't get mad at you for saying men and women are different the way they get mad at you for saying, this group does this more often than this group. But you know what I'm referring to. but
Yeah, yeah.
they don't get mad at you the same way. And so you'd think it'd be easier to find the information, but it is really, really hard to find stuff about the differences between men and women. And I think it's because there's isn't actually that much hard data like 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 for differences between ethnic groups. The thing I'm referring to is obviously IQ tests. I'm not going to get into what causes that, but we have a test, we have numbers, we have like, okay, this number correlates with this life outcome, this group scores this number more often than this group. um, Regardless of what the causes are, we know those causes exist. With the stuff about differences between men and women, it's not something that can so easily be reduced to a number. It's not like, oh, it's just this one big difference that causes all these little differences. It's like, no, it's like so many different things we don't even we scarcely understand it. And that's why so much of it is covered by hearsay. And the purveyors of hearsay, people who would purvey here, who would share hearsay, often don't have the best motivations. I'm not saying that everyone who writes about differences between men and women is a misogynist. I'm saying it is so difficult to cut through all the noise and bullshit that, like, the only statistically I've only found two statistically verifiable differences between psychological differences between men and women, and I'll even say what they are right now. One, women tend to be more interested in working with people than working with things. Two, women tend to be more susceptible to what's it called? This very specific cognitive a social acceptability bias. Women have a stronger desire, on average. This isn't every woman, but on average, they have a stronger desire to fit in with the group than men do, and this causes women to conform more easily. Again, on average, than men. Both of these things I have found. I'm not going to like dig up sources right now, but I have found research that's high quality and doesn't seem to be ideologically motivated on this. But that's it. The manosphere talks about a lot more than just those two things, and often what they have is just based on, well, often, almost all the time, it's just based on anecdote, and it strikes me as creepy.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, when it comes to the manosphere, like, I never like I was a MGTOW, but I was not really big into like PUA or anything like that. You know, I always found those guys to be fucking creeps. But, like there are a lot of differences between men and women that are like marked, you know, and you just have to know where to look. Like if you just Google the differences between men and women, you're gonna get like what penis versus vagina, depending on what search engine you use, right? But there's also other differences, like if you look at blah, blah, evolutionary psychology. That's exactly what it's called, is blah blah evolutionary psychology. But um, if you look at the evolutionary psychology, if you look at how that plays into like dating and mate selection and stuff like that, that's a good example. You know, like there are some things that yeah, the 80/20 rule, right? That was something, and I still find that to be like true, but like I can understand why someone would be like, well, I don't fucking know about that, dude, because when you look at the 80/20 rule, which states that 80% of women are attracted to the top 20% of men, right? That's like a thing that like it's like kind of insular to the manosphere, where like the guys that made that, well, they didn't make it up, you know. Like I said, I buy into it. I think I think it is true enough. But like the guys that coined it, the guys that observed it and stuff like that, yeah, they definitely had a dog in the fight, you know. um I think it just comes down to like what you are willing to believe and accept versus like what you're not willing to believe and accept, and who you're willing to listen to, you know? Because that is one thing that kind of drove me away from MGTOW. Not in like a way that I was like, I don't buy into this shit anymore. I don't think they make a point, but more so a way of like, oh, I don't want to be around these guys anymore. Was when I started talking to some guys like Turd Flinging Monkey and stuff like that, you know, like I would have a conversation with him every now and again, and I'd like share something with him, like a revelation that I had about like how you can live your life better even with what we call red pill rage. So that you can actually achieve something instead of just sitting around bitching about women all day, which is what a lot of MGTOW do. Like when I would do that, he would attack me. He'd be like, "No, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about." Blah blah blah. And it was just like, "Oh, all right. So these guys suck. They just want to complain about women all day. That's all it is. They don't actually want to live lives that are like worthy of anything. They just want to complain. You know." So it's like I can understand the disillusionment. Not that you were ever like deep into it or into it at all, but like I can understand the disillusionment with it where you're like, oh, I don't think that's for me. Because like even I had a moment where I was in the middle of it and then I was like, oh well, nah, I think these guys just suck. you know?
Okay, please don't say slurs in chat. If you keep spamming that Scott should leave and I should do the stream alone, I will kick you. And if you want to donate to me, it's Streamlabs. That's me answering chat questions. Yeah, yeah, I I know that the same way the dissident right, as it's now called, had all these different factions. I know that the manosphere had all these different factions. They weren't always held the same beliefs. I'm just saying, to someone on the outside, they all look very similar.
Hmm.
And I sympathized with James Damore. I thought that his I don't even remember what the memo was called, but the memo he wrote that got leaked, I found it very sympathetic. Just most stuff I find on sect differences. I don't have enough. Can't turn on super chats yet because I don't have enough watch hours. Eventually, I'll be able to turn it on.
Uh,
Yeah,
if someone wants to send, they can send through Streamlabs or PayPal or something like that if you set that up for the future.
yeah. No, I have Streamlabs set up. The URLs on my screen,
Okay,
and
cool.
no one sent any TTSs to interrupt us yet, which is cool.
It's gonna
Uh,
happen. It's gonna fucking happen. Believe me.
what would I call myself politically? Well, that's both of us. Me, I'm some kind of right wing, but I'm not MAGA anymore. And I never liked the term white nationalist, but I do think during my darkest phase, I could have been called that. Um, I, I, I'm an aspiring rationalist and a classical liberal. I think that's the best way to describe it. In terms of actual policy, I change my mind so often depending on who has the the strongest voice yelling at me, that my actual opinions on policy don't even matter that much. I just care very much about open conversation and about not doing violence to other people. In fact, I guess you could call me a libertarian because I'm pro-trans, I'm pro-choice, pro-pot, pro-gun, all that stuff. There was this New York Times article a few months ago that was like interviewing conservatives who felt disillusioned by Trump because they're like, whoa, we just wanted to say the N-word without getting fired. We didn't actually want you to make bathroom bills. And obviously they're writing that article because they want to convince their readers that Trump is so bad that even conservatives who liked him are turning against him. And I don't know how many people there are that are actually turning against him, but I am very much one of them. And I'm very disillusioned with Trump and the conservative movement as a whole right now. So you could call me a libertarian. I don't. I voted for libertarian I voted for Joe Jorgensen in 2020. Anyway, sorry for getting off track from the Scott discussion. Just people are asking me questions in chat now. Scott, how would you describe yourself politically?
No, that's cool. I'll do that, but I have a couple of chats I want to read out because they're funny. Scratch Coast says manosphere, more like Thanosphere. Um, what was I gonna say? Hidalgo said a funny revelation for me was that men and women both get pissed off seeing ugly guys with hot chicks. Maybe that's why people hate me because I get hot chicks. The yes, and then the rational skeptic chooses his own ideology. But for my ideology, like every basic bitch is like, you can't. I don't like labels, but like if I explained how I feel about things, a lot of people simply would either like disagree or they wouldn't understand. But like, I'm a traditionalist in terms of what I believe is right and correct, you know, and when it comes to what should be allowed, though, um, I'm more libertarian, where it's like abortion, for instance, right? I don't agree with abortion. I think like it's killing a baby, bottom line. And like nothing anyone can say about that is like going to change my mind on it. But like I also am not going to get upset when abortions are legal in a certain place, because at the end of the day, I think what's more important than whether something's legal or illegal is the sickness that exists where a woman is going to get pregnant. And it's not a case of rape, it's not a case of incest or anything like that. The baby is not threatening her health. The baby's going to be born fine. You know, it's like perfectly normal baby, you know, but because she's like, oh, but I don't want to stop partying, she gets an abortion, right? I think that a lot more importance needs to be placed on that, instead of just banning things, which is kind of like a bit of a meme that popped up, and I hear it every now and again. People will send me stuff every now and again. Is people tell me that like, or not people tell me, but people say that you know, like I like Julius Evola and stuff like that, like, you know, too much, and or whatever. Like I'm trying to think of specific examples of like people talking about me and Julius Evola, but that's something that Evola actually criticized the fascist party in Italy for, is like, okay, cool, we have a nationalistic party that's returning to tradition, I guess, in a certain sense, but like also you're just making laws. You're not actually like creating a healthy movement for people who are like actually gonna um you know, they're gonna return to monkey, or return to tradition, or whatever you want to call it, right? It's just you're trying to put a band-aid on a bullet hole, you know. um so overall it's like, as long as it's not like you're messing with kids or animals or stuff like that, I'm pretty much okay with it on a level of like, I don't like it, just keep it away from me and it's all good. But also like I personally, like my focus is like, how do we make it so that people are not going to be that way anymore, if it makes sense, you know?
Well, I don't know if I'm a genetic determinist, but if you are a genetic determinist, the future looks bright. Why am I slurring my words? The future looks bright. You know why?
Why?
Because those women you talk about who get abortions, so they don't end up, so they can go on partying. They don't have kids, do they?
Yeah, yeah, that's that catch 22 that I've heard people talk about, you know, that
They're taking themselves out of the gene pool.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And one of the highest fertility groups in the United States right now is the Amish, and they are very, very traditional.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Amish are they're the only group in America that is actually having kids at like replacement rate. Like even when Muslims come here, it's like they have one generation that's like, you know, Allah, have 4 wives and 10 kids with each wife, and then like the kids, the first generation of Americans are like, no, fuck that, I want an iPhone, and they're just like, nah, we ain't doing this.
Maybe, maybe in the future, Amish will take over the country. If AI doesn't kill us all, the Amish will rule the world.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't call the Amish meek. They have guns. The Amish are known for having straps and shit like that. But you know, they'll at the very least not be burdened by grok. You know.
Yeah, I don't. I think that going down the AI doomer rabbit hole conversation, because I don't actually understand. I don't un. It's the latest bandwagon ideology I've gone attached to. Except when I say bandwagon ideology, it's because you knew me. You know I tend to get sucked into cults of personality. I very much got sucked into AI doomerism, and I am scared. But because I don't actually understand the science of it that well, I just understand the rhetoric. A conversation about it would just be me repeating rhetoric.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, like, I definitely think there's some things with the technology that we're seeing that we need to take a look at and like, you know, kind of be aware of. Like, I'm not a big fan of the whole cybernetic thing. Or not cybernetic. That would imply that like people are getting like cybernetic shit on their bodies, but cyborgs and stuff like that. Like that's a little bit weird to me. I think we should definitely stop short of having them in combat roles or any kind of fighting. But like And in fact, like an old friend of ours, he explained it to me back in like 2019, and I immediately was just like, oh, that's not interesting. AI is just a bunch of if then statements. It's just like you type in your question and it just shoots through like a ton of if then statements. Like if you were to ask like what is a fire truck, right? It's just gonna keep shooting through those statements until it finds what it has been trained to like um tell you, right? I'm doing a bad job at explaining it, like
And
and
see,
like
here's where my rhetoric comes in. Is that different from how humans reason? If you're, I'm a reluctant atheist. I was agnostic when we last spoke before the show. I've like moved 1 degree further into my own doubt, and now I'm comfortable calling myself an atheist, even though I'd really like there to be a God. And if there isn't a God, then you've no reason to believe consciousness exists. It's an illusion. We are just code. The code's in our DNA. And if that's true, then it doesn't saying AI is like, well, that's just code. This is making predictions, probabilistic predictions. Well, that's what human beings are. We're just made of flesh and blood instead of silicon.
well, I mean, I think it's a little bit more than that though, because like we have the capability to understand an if then statement, you know, like if the truck is red, then it's a fire truck. But if the truck does not have like a hose, then it is not a fire truck. Like that's the type of shit that happens when you type a question into AI. You know, if you're like, what is a fire truck? You know, it just keeps whittling down until it gets there. But because it spits out an answer right then, you don't even realize it's doing that. But like we have the ability to understand more or understand things on a level beyond just like that 1 or 2 dimensional thing. Like I understand what you're saying. You know, they say the brain is the most powerful computer in the world, but like I also think to reduce it. You know, I think to reduce the brain to even just saying it's a computer is like, well, I think it's more than that. You know, we don't even really understand the brain and like consciousness on that level. You know, we understand AI.
Do you consider yourself a Christian?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a Catholic. I actually started going to church again within the last like month and a half or so.
See, what the way I look at it, and again, it's repeating rhetoric from other AI people that I find influential. So I'm being a lot like an AI myself now. Um, the basically the reason you think that the brain is something special and that it's not right to just reduce it to a computer is because you believe in God. You believe in a soul. If you don't believe in God, then you don't believe in a soul, since essentially believing in a soul and believing in God are essentially the same thing. And so it's very easy to come to the AI doomer conclusion. I
Hmm.
don't think there are that many religious people who are AI doomers, but there are a lot of atheists who are.
Yeah, yeah. No,
I,
I can agree with what you're saying there. Sorry,
and I
what were you
always
gonna say?
when I always call myself an atheist, I preface it with the word reluctant atheist, because there's this
Mm.
stereotype that atheists are people who think it's good to be an atheist, that everyone should be an atheist. On the contrary, I think it's a bad thing for you psychologically to be an atheist. I think we evolved belief systems because they're beneficial for our health, and I think that um, if you are able to resist falling into doubt, you should try. Now, this doesn't mean everything religious movement does is excused because it's religion. What it means is that on individual level, it's a good thing if the individual's religious, and that puts me at odds with most of the new atheist people who want to make as many atheists as possible and convert people to atheism.
Mm. Oh yeah, you know, like when you and I first met, I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't calling myself a Christian. I was just like a spiritualist, you know. Very basic bitch of me, but um, I shit you not. Again, somebody else that we became acquainted with, she was like such a bad like girlfriend figure, and I just wanted to be the exact opposite of her. And because of that, I was like, okay, maybe I should give this Christianity thing a try again. And like back then, I was definitely a lot more susceptible to thinking like that, where it's like, well, I don't know, man. I mean, like, what if God is just like a computer code or something like that? I definitely agree with what you're saying, you know, and I think like I can respect what you're saying about reluctant atheism as well, because like I think what happens with a lot of people is they just want to be right about things, and because of that, like there will be a situation where, like you said, a lot of atheists are like, no, I want to create new atheists, and it's like, why? Like that sounds awful to me. Like I'm a Christian. I believe in God. Like I've had situations occur that in my mind prove it to me that there is somebody watching over me and that has my back and shit like that. And I'm still afraid of death. Like at least once a week I go to bed and I'm like, oh man, dude, I'm 30 now. I only got another like 40 years left. Oh dude, whoa. Like I couldn't imagine not thinking anything comes after that and also having those thoughts about like, damn, I'm gonna die someday. Like that sounds that's I could not handle that. That I would lose it. You know.
I mean, the source of hope that there is something after death is that the idea that all of reality is an illusion. All physical evidence suggests that there's nothing after death, and there is no God, and consciousness is an illusion. Blah blah blah. But if con- it, I go, why do I believe consciousness is an illusion? Oh, because of physical evidence. Well, if I'm just brain chemicals, couldn't my brain chemicals be lying to me? Like, I
Hmm.
know it's that I don't know why it's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck in the meme, but you know the meme I'm thinking of, don't you?
I I feel like I vaguely know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's Donald Duck shouting, shouting. Don't you see? We are nothing but chemical reactions happening in our brains. None of this is real. None of this matters. And Mickey goes, "Fool that you are! You trust the chemicals in your head to tell you that they are chemicals. You fight like a man or perish like a dog." And that I don't know. I went looking for the original quote, and the original quote was someone writing that apparently as like a funny thing for Mickey and Donald to say in a meme comic. The actual philosophy obviously goes back much farther, but that particular
Hmm.
mimetic variation um, that really stuck with me. I think that like the final nail in the coffin for my flimsy belief in God was when I successfully lucid dreamed, because I used to think that dreams might literally be portals into other worlds, and then once I figured out how to control them, and I'm not saying I can do it often. Lucid dreaming is very hard, and it doesn't happen often, but
Hmm.
that's the idea that they're not real uh, it begins to seem more likely. However, then there's the question of well, maybe reality itself isn't real. So far as I can tell, reality is distinct from my dreams. That I can't change it, and also I go back to it more often. There's more consistency, but I'm kind of rambling right now. Sorry, but
No, no, I
I'm
get what you're
saying
saying.
I if if there is a God, then probably everything I see is fake, and at that point, all bets are off. Maybe there is an afterlife. Maybe there is a God. Okay, they want me to remove the sound gate. I'll do that. Sound gate.
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of have the inverse where, like, everything created was created by God, and because of that, everything has a place in God's plan, and that includes dreams. And it is through God that we are able to have dreams. I'm not saying that every dream we have is like God beaming thoughts into our head while we're asleep or anything like that. I don't think God would force us to have wet dreams or anything like that. I don't think that would happen. But I think it's probably got something to do with like our free will and our psyche. Um, you know, and I mean, I haven't put too much thought into the dreams thing, but like I'm just explaining like kind of the way that I think about dreams now that you're mentioning it. Like if I had to come up with an explanation, um, I could understand the idea of like a lucid dream being like, wow, like I can just dream and like move around even if it is tough and I can't do it like consistently. I can do it. I can understand like how that might shake the belief, but also I think that it just comes down to like, um, it's your brain. You can do what you want. Like you can give yourself anxiety. You can literally drive yourself insane. I've seen it happen before. Um, like it which maybe that just kind of reinforces like your idea of chemicals and stuff like that. But to me, again, like it's to me it's just like, well, I believe in God, so I think God probably created us in a certain way, and we can either use or misuse what we were created with, and that includes lucid dreaming. Like depending on what we're doing, we're either using it or potentially even misusing the lucid dreaming. um and it just makes sense to me that way. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I hope that I hope you understand what I'm getting at.
Drew Manny tipped me $2 from Streamlabs to ask, "Is this guy bothering you?"
Oh man.
I also got some fish toys, and I said I would wait until the end of the stream to do fish toys. But these are the easy ones. It's Aryeh says your username 20 times. This is from Bert's Bottom Bitch. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Okay. So my YouTube monitor is not moderated on Twitch or Kick, but I think it's going to be fine because the chat broke, and that was a bad thing. Like, oh no, my chat function on my thing broke, and I'm like, wait, this means I don't have to worry about naughty stuff appearing on screen in the video. Anyway, everything's fine, but thank you, and you don't even have to watch the stream if you don't want to.
Oh.
Is our destiny predetermined, or are we the masters
Thank
of
you,
our
Greg.
own fate? I would like to know both of your opinions on this.
Talk to you later.
Once he's off the phone, I'll ask.
Greg apparently rated me. That was very nice of him.
Oh, Greg rated you?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Greg.
Yeah, Greg's a really cool guy. I actually got a Streamlabs thing as well. At symbol tipped $5. Thank you very much for that, sir. He asked, "Is our destiny predetermined, or are we the masters of our own fate?" I would like to know both of your opinions on this. How do you feel about that, Aryeh?
I accidentally closed the Twitch chat, and now I have to reopen it. Give me a second. But I don't think free will is an all or nothing thing. It's like, well, everything's predetermined, or oh, we all, everything is a choice. Well, so I haven't done that much reading on free will. I do know, like I mentioned before, I'm an aspiring rationalist. What that means is I believe that most people on most things make up their decisions immediately and instinctively before they even realize they've made their decisions. And then they use logic not to make decisions, but to retroactively justify the decisions that they've already made. Jonathan Haidt's book, The Righteous Mind, was a big influence on me. And also a lot of blog posts by... Oh, I forgot. Bert's Bottom Bitch, 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 Bert's Bottom Bitch. And I have 4 more of these easy ones that's 20 times each, but in total it's 80 times, so we're going to wait on them. What was I saying? I think the Streamlabs thing might be broken too, actually, because Drew Manny's thing didn't appear. I had to look for it manually, but the way I approach life is that I don't think everyone has equal aptitudes. Some people, you're not going to reach your ceiling for anything, be it intelligence, be it athletic ability, musical ability, whatever. You're not going to reach that ceiling unless you have the right environment in your early childhood and you work hard. So environment and dedication both play a role, but there is a ceiling, and that's why not everyone can be a rock star or a painter. But I think, and I do believe that there are emotional and you can tell I'm getting into some of the more controversial stuff I've read about. I do I do believe that there are emotional predispositions, and certain people are more inclined to do certain things than other people because they have predispositions that affect how they get, how angry they get, how sad they get in response to certain things. But I do believe at the end of the day, everyone has the ability to resist. Yes, it's harder for some people than other people, but I don't believe there is such thing as a person who just, if you have the intelligence to be aware of what you're doing, then you can always hold back, even if it's hard. And that's why I'm not a I'm not a determinist when it comes to crime. I don't think, oh well, these people, they're just going to commit crime. Like, no, they might be more tempted, but anyone, if they really want to, can resist that temptation, no matter how hard it is. So I do think that we have free will, maybe not in terms of the things we want to do or the things we're able to do, but in terms of the choices that we make. So I take kind of a centrist position on free will. I'd say does that all make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, and I actually pretty much agree with that. I think that we are put on Earth and we might have a destiny, but that destiny may not be 100% fulfilled. I think God is probably smart enough and powerful enough as to where even though he has a plan, if like humans were to be foolish or something like that, um, like they say God knows like everything that's gonna happen and all this other stuff. I think that's more probably like um it's less that people don't have free will and it's more that like he knows people, you know. He knows how people are going to act a lot of the time and how people are likely to act. But overall, like I think that we are all born with a certain spiritual virility isn't the word to use. um I guess we're all born with a certain um see, I know what I want to say, but it's I'm having a hard time saying it. Like we're all born with a certain spiritual cast, I guess you could say, right? I've used the word spiritual cast before, but it's not exactly what I want to use in this case. We're all born as a part of a certain spiritual cast, and some of us are going to be higher and lower than others. That's just the way that it is. It doesn't mean that like the lower caste is like bad necessarily. They're just not, the same, right? Um, it's complicated topic the way I'm thinking about it, but within those capabilities that we have, kind of like what you were saying, within the potential that we have, there are certain things that are going to make it harder or easier for us to accomplish our goals, and we can resist those things that are going to make it harder for us. But then in addition to that, from that Christian standpoint, it's not even just about like whether or not you're gonna like win the big game and go on and play in the NFL, or if you're gonna get the scholarship and go to Harvard or whatever. It also comes down to you have the ability to live uh, in a way that rejects sin. You know, so it's not, for me. It's not just like, oh, you have the aptitude or you don't have the aptitude. It's like you were born to do a certain thing. You're only ever gonna feel right doing that thing. Anything else that you do, it's not that you can't stomach it, it's just that it's not what you were born to do. um and within that thing that you were born to do, you're going to have a certain aptitude that depending on how things play out, you'll be able to reach certain heights. But then also beyond that, you have, like I said, the sin versus not sin thing, if it makes sense what I'm trying to say.
I think what you're saying is that different people have certain. When we say spiritual caste, people, is that your phrase for describing the idea that certain people are put on this world with their purpose already decided, but also whatever their purpose is, they're able to ignore it if they choose.
um in a sense, when like the reason I didn't want to use spiritual cast, but I had to, is because I couldn't think of a better way to describe it. But again, this is an Evolian thing. He takes it because Evola was an occultist. I don't take every little thing he's ever said, because it doesn't really fall in line with what I am. But I do feel that God very well could have formed spiritual castes, if you will. And there's four main ones. The lowest one would be, I believe they called it the slave caste or something like that. There was some,
Are we getting into
um,
Nietzsche now? Are we getting into Nietzsche? Nietzsche?
not exactly, not
I
exactly,
know he's an
but
atheist.
yeah, but what's it called? Like most people are going to be born into that plebeian caste, if you will. And then there's also like warrior caste. There's a patrician class caste. There's like a like I'm doing a bad job of explaining it. It's been a long time since I've actually like read into it. And I'm not like the world's foremost expert on it. It's just I've kind of latched onto it in a certain sense because it makes sense to me when I look at the way the world is. But like someone in that plebeian caste, like they're you know the unfortunate reality is they're never going to be an astronaut. It's just the way that it is. They weren't born for that kind of thing. But that doesn't mean that they can't be really good at like whatever it is they do. Like they could be like a really good plumber or something like that, and they can make a lot of money being a plumber. Or like again, like there's that spiritual side of it, that Christian side of it, where it's like, well, I mean, yeah, it's not like you're born to be a king, but at the very least, you can still get into heaven because you can not be an asshole. you know I'm pretty sure that's what Jesus said, actually, was to just be a cool guy. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I I I kind of want to probe a little bit on this more, but I just realized that the main thing we were going to do was talk about our past and how that leads into the present, our
Mm.
individual past, and we've put it off for over an hour. But I'm going to probe on this a little more. So, do you think there are people who have a specific job it, that who God? It's not just that God gave them, a build like ceilings in their abilities. So there's a specific thing that they're supposed to be doing with whatever abilities they may have. Is it possible for a person to go against that, to go against God's order, in your view?
Oh yeah, 100%. Unless God specifically selects you, like in the case of Job, if you read the book of not Job, what the hell? What was it Jonah? Whoever got swallowed by the whale. I think it might have,
Jonah.
yeah, Jonah. He was, yeah, because that was also in the Torah, right? Was Jonah in the
Yes.
Torah? Yeah. Like Jonah was specifically selected to be a messenger of God, and he was like, I don't want to do this. And because of that, God kept smacking him until he was like, all right, I guess I'm doing this. I think if you're literally chosen by God to be like an example like that, then yeah, like it's going to be really hard to go against God's will. You're going to keep getting smacked upside the head. But um, like as far as that's like a heroin addict or something like that. Like, God doesn't say, hey, do as much heroin as you want. Like sin is turning away from God. Sin is going against what God wanted, not just for you but humanity. So yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely it's in fact it's too easy to go against God. It's too easy. Like the default mode of humans is to sin and be like ignorant and foolish and stuff like that, myself included. I'm not saying this from an ivory tower. Like I'm one of the biggest sinners that I know, honestly. um but yeah, overall, yes, like it's possible to go against what God wants for you.
Uh, my psycho stalker says, I am an atheist too, but the religion is comforting, is the opposite of me, is the opposite for me. The idea of a God that could send me eternal torture or reincarnation, even where I could have been born in a North Korean gulag, sounds terrifying. I hope there's nothing. Wow, why are you assuming that God would send you to eternal torture? Why are you assuming hell is real? Why are you even assuming it's literal, not a metaphor for the torture we put ourselves through? There are many different interpretations of the Bible. But let's see. I'm going to read off. I'm going to say a username 20 times. It's the same person. Bert's Bonabitch, 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 Bert's Bonabitch. Okay, so the story, what everyone wanted to hear, or I don't know if people even care. I remember when I started telling the story in the cell, Goldstriker said, "This is boring and no one cares," which was he's actually very sweet off camera. Just on camera, he can be. Oh wait, you've met him too, so you would know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So cultural context here. There's people with a genuine interest in politics in the sense that they want to change the world. They want to. Oh, it should work this way. The government should prioritize this or that, spend this. Then you have people who just follow it as entertainment. I was very much in the latter camp until the Berkeley riots. So when you say the riots now, people assume you're talking about the 2020 riots because those are the most recent big riots people remember. The Berkeley riots were a very big deal to not to the public as a whole, like the Floyd riots, but a very small select of people, a very small selection of people that included me. So if you were in any way involved in politics as entertainment, if you were someone who followed this stuff for fun, then all of a sudden it entered the real world in a very visceral, scary way. So Milo Yiannopoulos, whose job was to be a professional troll, he was everything, racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, blah 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 blah. That was his shtick, and he was the ultimate lib triggerer. What people like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro do is a very gentrified version of what he does, where they have this pretense of civility. Milo Yiannopoulos had no such pretense. He was vulgar. He was mean, and he was funny. And people started. There was a. I don't remember if it started because of him or if it just coincided with his rise in popularity. But let me look at some chat stuff here. Are people still watching? Yeah. Okay. I don't know if it was actually. Stupid window. Sorry, I'm distracted by trying to manage 3 chat windows. I don't know if it was caused by Milo or if it just coincided, but there was this trend of people getting large mobs to go to events held by conservative or libertarian or just generally controversial speakers and drown them out by being louder than them. They would make noise. They would yell. It's like, well, they can't spread their hate speech and no one can hear them. That didn't work. On the contrary, it made this stuff more popular. Like it would like people would go, and when the one time I saw Milo perform live during his pre-cancellation phase, because he was I could barely hear him because everyone was yelling over him, and that was part of the shtick. It was guy comes over saying he's going to be outrageous. People show up, and I'm tired, so I try to put my words together. He's going to proves how intolerant the left is by showing up, and the left's going crazy, and it's funny. I went to no one remembers this meme anymore, but Trigglypuff. The woman who looks like Jigglypuff. I was a few rows behind her. That was the event I went to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're right. We got this guy. Like, you think I'm fat? She's much fatter.
And
she looks like Jigglypuff. Yeah, and it was funny, but at some point, leftist activists realized, oh, this is backfiring. This is making it more popular. What if we got violent? And so this stuff it escalated. TTSW. Did a TTS go off? I didn't see a TTS. 50% of Angelina's viewers were sent to my stream. Thank you. So towards around the time Trump got elected, the stuff escalated to people. I remember Charles Murray. Charles Murray wasn't sent to the hospital. The teacher who vouched for him and was like, "Hey, we should have Charles Murray give a speech." She got sent to the hospital. The Berkeley riots were the peak of all this stuff. It was people going to. So Berkeley, California invites Milo. Ton of activists, not just from I think people traveled in from other areas. They show up, they get violent, they burn things, they smash people. Now, there were so many memes from that. I remember it was the Bike Lock Bandit, the guy who was hitting people believed to be conservatives over the head with bike locks. And if you were someone who had ever been to one of these things, or even if you weren't, this was very disturbing. I remember remember Dra Muhammad Day, or is that it was like a new atheist thing where people overseas were being killed for Dra Muhammad, so a bunch of Americans started an informal holiday to Dra Muhammad, where it's like, everyone draw your own Muhammad and then show it off.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, by that time, that sort of thing was, by the time the Berkeley riots happened, a lot of the people who used to support that sort of thing, like fuck the terrorists, free speech is good, a lot of because they were left wing, and politics were going to be more polarized, they'd shifted to defending this sort of behavior because in their mind now they are because to them it wasn't. Again, I'm not speaking for all lefts. I'm speaking of a lot of public figures. For them, the issue wasn't that they said their issue was free speech and they want people to have freedom of expression, but really they were just afraid of people they perceive as their political enemies. Radical Muslim jihadists are bad because they pose a threat to us atheists. Conservative fundamentalists are bad because they pose a threat to us atheists. So really, you only had conservatives in the media. With a few exceptions, you only had conservatives in the media going to bat for Milo and the people getting assaulted. This whole thing was very disturbing to me. And the riots never, to my knowledge, never got that bad at any campuses in our immediate area. There were some evacuations. People had to be evacuated because the police deemed it unsafe. But I don't think there was any, lots of maimings that were happening before Boston Free Speech formed. Boston Free Speech formed. It was this kid who was fresh out of high school. It wasn't either of us who started it, but someone started it, and their idea was. I don't know why I get so rambly with this subject in particular. Maybe because of how long ago it was, maybe because of how complicated it was. But I could see what Jason was talking about now. I really am rambling with this. But this kid's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to make an event called the Boston Free Speech Event, specifically say that we're protesting the violence of Antifa. We're going to show up, and then Antifa's going to show up, and it's going to be awesome. So what happened the first time? I told this story on stream. I'm telling you again. The first time, and that's when I met. No, I think I met you a few months later. The first time, it was a big success. There were more people on the free speech side than the Antifa side. The police were able to keep them in check. So it was just a block party. And there aren't many open conservatives in the Boston area. So this is like the only time you would ever meet Trump people in Boston. It was like you'd see someone wearing a MAGA and it would be like seeing a legendary Pokemon. And so it was really cool. And afterwards we were like, oh, well, let's, I go up I went up to the kid that was organizing it, and I was, kid, he was 19 and I was 21, and now that doesn't seem like a big deal, but at the time it felt like a big deal. At the time it's like, well, you're just a kid, you just graduated high school. Me, I've been in college for 2.5 years, so I saw myself as a senior, but he didn't see me as a senior. But yeah, so are you guys gonna do more stuff? Yeah, we probably will. This is fun. So we planned an event. I don't know if the Discord group already existed, but he invited me to the planning Discord group. They had maybe 10 or so people. It was Turn TTS on auto. Oh, fuck. I forgot some TTSs. First, someone paid me to slap myself. And they also want me to stop talking about political nonsense, but fuck you, I won't. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, I'll set TTS to auto. I'm sorry, but
I mean, if you're having a hard time with the rambling, I mean, like, I know we came in at two. I knew we came. Excuse me. I know we came in at two different points, but we did attend all the same stuff. So if you want, I can kind of explain from my point of view too, and like you can fill in where it doesn't work out.
Sam was right about this, Aryeh. I don't think you'll hear it on your end, so I'm going to read it out loud before playing it. Sam was right about this, Aryeh. Let Scott lead the conversation. Scott, do you think an autistic Jew can live a spiritual life?
Yeah, why not? But
Nope.
so when
Now
it comes,
it's playing.
oh, sorry.
Do you think autists Jews can live a spiritual life? Okay, there it goes. Okay, your turn.
I got a super chat I want to read real quick. Thank you very much, Dick, for the $5. Just tuned in, and suddenly I feel like I'm back in Fish Tank, and Aryeh has never stopped talking about this. Rest in peace to what would have been the best season. I agree. I think season 4 would have been the best season, and that makes me jealous because I don't think I was going to be on season 4. But so yeah, but Boston Free Speech, right? I was at the first 2 events, but I was not a part of the group at that time. You see, I found my way into the political sphere because for much the same reason that you did, Aryeh, where I was like, I wasn't ever really into like Milo Yiannopoulos or anything like that, but I saw what was a bunch of like screaming, crying liberals, and of course, like everybody else, I pointed and laughed. But then the screaming, crying liberals started turning violent, and that bothered me as someone who knows how to fight. As a lifelong martial artist. I don't like seeing anyone get bullied. I don't like seeing innocent people get hurt. But even before anything formed here, I fell in with a group called Boston Antifa, and not the Boston Antifa, but there was a group of people on the internet who were doing Antifa parodies. Dustin and Quinn ran Boston Antifa. And the thing is, they were all the way in Oregon. So they were calling themselves Boston Antifa basically because the Boston Antifa Facebook page got taken down, and they cyber squatted on it after it got taken down. So they're getting hit up with all these interviews and stuff like that. And this is actually where I met BG Cumby for the first time. I became slightly acquainted with him because he got his Waters World interview, the one where he said that that horse deserved to be stabbed or something like that. He got that through them. Now, I got a couple of interviews through them, but by the time I was doing interviews, it was kind of known that they were like a joke group. So the interviews always kind of went sideways. Now, I showed up to the first BFS event, and it was really fun. I remember that. I can remember sort of like the carnival-esque experience, and me, like, I was kind of jumping between both sides. And for one thing, this was the one time that we actually outnumbered Antifa. Like I can remember Antifa standing up on the hill. There was maybe like 100 of them. There was at least 300 to 400 of us. And there was only a couple of people that were blocked up as well. It was like, the kids that saw what was happening in Berkeley and, the Pacific Northwest, and they were like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the next Eric Clanton. And, they didn't do anything. I actually have some of it on video. I can send you the videos, but I don't want to share them publicly because, honestly, I was trying to be funny, and I'm not a funny guy. So the videos suck. But the next one comes. And this is the one that you talked about on the
yeah, the one where we found out about Charlottesville. We found out that Charlottesville's happening, and we thought, and it turned out Charlottesville was scheduled the same day, and we're like, well, if we hold it on the same day, people will think that we're the same group. So obviously, we should push it back a week. I mean, there was internal debating, but that was the consensus. It was that we shouldn't hold it on the same day, or else people will think we're associated with them. It turned out that we should have held it on the same day because pushing it back a week gave people time to freak out and assume the Charlottesville people were coming to Boston. So yeah, that was a very traumatic experience for me. I I don't know if there is such thing as being over it, because um, it's kind of hard to reconcile my view of humanity, or what are the view of humanity I aspired to having, I guess, with what I saw that day. Because what I saw that day was very viscerally not like not like these people turning on you and wanting to kill you for not even anything you did, but what that some guy told them you might soon be doing. Um, Stuff which isn't even dangerous or illegal. It really messed with my head, and I think the worst part of it was, people I knew telling me, who had no sympathy for me because I chose to be there, or because I put myself in a situation where you should expect to get hurt. That
Mhm.
really, really screwed with me, and I became, as someone who enjoys politics as entertainment, I had flirted with extremist stuff online, you know, it, but not taking it seriously. I like any one of those, those people who write articles saying, I used to be extreme, but ContraPoint saved me. And then you read their extremism. It was just, oh, I was watching these YouTube videos, I was listening to these podcasts, and they never actually did anything bad.
Mm.
That's the stage I was at. And then I got mind fucked. And I never hurt anyone, but I started seeking out real life activist movements that weren't just like, at that point, it was like, it was, I'm trying to, so for a few days, I was like, okay, I'm never going to any political events again. Then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to political events, but I want to be safer. I need to network with people who are like me. And one of the connections I made through Boston Free Speech happened to be a Proud Boy. And he told me that Proud Boys don't do real world stuff. They meet in secret in the basement of a bar and they drink, perfectly safe. And that's how of course, they turned into something quite different. They started getting into actual real world fights, which I do not endorse. Um, but at the time, it was just people drinking in the basement of a bar. And Boston Free Speech kind of went on hiatus for a few weeks. Then they decided, okay, well, we should hold a rally again, but not until we figure out how to hold a rally. Well, how do we do it? I don't know, but we should do. What happened was we justified it as saying that we were doing promotion, but really we were all angry about what happened. We were lashing out. So we started going to leftist events and heckling them. And I was the one who heckled the least because I don't like saying mean things to people. But I remember I pulled you aside several times because you said things to people that we agreed were either, we already agreed that these people were potential terrorists, but you were saying things that really, I thought, like, you were calling them ugly, you were calling them fatherless, and I was disturbed by that. I was telling you, hey, just call them commies, call them Antifa. Don't say anything actually hurtful. Call them stuff that won't hurt them if it isn't true.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I mean that's the thing is like I didn't want to go there to call them things that they're proud to be. I wanted to go there to piss them off, you know.
I don't.
I was also flirting with the girls openly, and you'd be surprised how often they didn't absolutely hate it. You know, like you would think even at their own things, they'd be like, at least at their own things they'd be like, oh fuck you, get away from me, I don't no, like there's a couple of times where they kind of give you that look where it's like an OU, like an angry OU look, and it's like, oh, all right, I don't know, maybe she's into this, I don't know, shit. But yeah, like that second rally was crazy for me because I wasn't actually on the bandstand and I didn't end up in the I didn't end up
Armored
in,
trucks.
yeah, in the trucks. Because again, I was still kind of like palling around with that group of Antifa people, and they actually passed me what was supposed to be an interview and like something. I don't even know what I'd call it. From MSNBC. I had MSNBC following me around that day, and they mic'd me up and everything. And I want to tell a lot of these stories more in depth on my Patreon and shit like that. But like one of the things that I'll say is that I had a hello fellow kids moment where me, like, this is the first time I had ever done anything like that legit, and it's at a rally with 45,000 people at it, and Antifa from all across the nation who are like actually like they know what they're doing. It's not just college students who are like, I'm gonna put on a mask. It's like, no, like these are the people who like are from the Pacific Northwest and Jersey and other places where like not Jersey, Philadelphia and New York and shit like that, who like they like this is what they do, you know? So I walk up to a group of Antifa guys. Mind you, I have a mic on and I have again a camera crew that's like coming and going with me. And I walk up to this one guy who seems like he knows what he's doing, and he's like telling people to do stuff, and I'm just like, hey, and he kind of looks at me and turns away because he knows what's going on. And I was like, hey man, and he's like, what? And I was like, are we doing the black bloc right now? And he looked at me and was like, what? And I was like, oh, sorry, I'm new to this. And he was like, yeah, me too. And he just turned off and walked away. That was like that was a funny moment that day. But like overall, like it made me angry, and it like not to act like I was the biggest victim of that day, but like it made me angry and I felt powerless because like, you know, yeah, sure, I'm a martial artist and shit like that, but there's 45,000 people that are like there, you know. I guess I might be able to take one or two of them down, but I ain't getting out of that, you know. It was crazy though seeing like the actual riot squad come out in Boston for the first time in well over 100 years. Um, you know, people throwing shit, trying to block the trucks. Like it was bad. It was not as bad outside as you guys probably thought it was, but it was kind of bad, you know. And
I mean,
oh no,
I
go ahead.
thought at the time that we were being, someone sent 50% of Binks' viewers to me. That's nice. But as a Bink simp, I have to discourage you from that. Send me Angelina's viewers instead.
Oh man.
But yeah, I thought we were being shot at. I said this before. I didn't know until after the fact that it was rocks being thrown. But when I was in there, I thought these were guns going off, and that these were bullets hitting the truck. As it turned out, only one guy was caught with a gun. There was some guy who intended to get into the trucks and shoot us, and police pat him down, found he had a gun, and arrested him, thankfully. But yeah, in the moment, I thought it was I thought it was, I don't know what I'd call it, Armageddon. Like the only thing, like I don't really have anything else in my life that could compare to it. And even the stuff I've seen in movies that comes to my mind. Don't. I will say this. I think I mentioned on the tank that I wanted to pray, but I didn't want people to see me pray because I'd already said I don't believe in God. And so I said the first thing that came up to my mind, it was, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. So I spent a lot of the ride just saying, I don't want to die, 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 over and over and over. And we have a TPS coming. Scott, when the end of the rainbow falls in your Antifa protest. Straight, I was excellent. Skipped it.
What
I don't know what that means.
what did it say?
It said, don't fuck with Scott when the end of the rainbow falls on your Antifa protest. Straight Irish excellence. Shout out, skipped it.
Yo, whoever that was great. Thank you.
But I didn't realize until much later that I might have been subconsciously quoting Evangelion, because there is a scene in the end of Evangelion where Asuka, she's in Eva Unit 2 at the bottom of the lake. She's running out of oxygen. She knows if she stays down, she's going to suffocate. If she goes upstairs, above water, she's going to get shot and die. So she starts in the dark, alone, curled up in a ball, going, I don't want to die. 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 And I'm thinking, oh, well, and thinking, and a few months after the fact, reflecting on the events that day, I'm like, was I referencing Evangelion? If I wasn't doing so consciously. It was subconscious. But that was that. But I do think that is a funny thing that came out of one of the darkest moments of my life. But yeah, I talked before about having been a white nationalist. What that means is I'd already read the great replacement stuff and gone, oh, that's silly. This is ridiculous. It doesn't matter whether Republicans win or lose. what I decided that day was that Democrats are evil. They want to kill me. That anyone who votes Democrat either wants to kill me or is naively being led along by people who want to kill me. And that if minorities usually vote Democrat, that means most minorities are aiding evil. Therefore, America needs to remain white. That was the way I thought about it after that event. And all this, like I'd already read the stuff saying, "Oh well, minorities are going to make it so the Republican Party don't win." I didn't care. It didn't matter to me, except it does matter to you if you believe that the Democratic Party is evil. Now I don't. Now this didn't come from a malicious place, but I was part of a movement that I now find kind of icky. I don't hold ill will towards any white nationalists in my audience. I understand where you're coming from to an extent. I'm just saying, I do think that I started reading more extreme stuff, started believing more extreme stuff. And I don't know, I never became as rude as a lot of people as the Groyper types usually are, but I did become more hostile. And I'm very embarrassed about that time in my life. And I think where was I going with this? I'm sure he'd hate me if he knew I existed, but I really like Richard Hanania, and I like the way he approached his, cancellation for having previously been a white supremacist, which was to say, yeah, I was stupid. I was young and I was stupid. But what do you want me to say? I mean, I was young and I was stupid, and it's cringe. I don't believe that anymore. Like, he wasn't groveling. He was just like, yeah, that's stupid. I was stupid. That's the way I feel, except I will grovel a little just because I'm able to recognize now how much of what I was feeling at the time was fueled by trauma.
Well, I mean that's the thing though, is like I don't think you have anything to apologize for in that way. It's like you know, the way you were saying it is it was just a trauma response, you know. Um like I think you're probably putting a little bit too much importance on other people as to where you were the victim of multiple crimes that day, including ones where you thought that it might be your last day on earth. And now what, you have to be like apologetic for your response to that? Like, no, of course not, you know. I'm not like, I was never even like a white nationalist type guy myself. I never really like 100% embraced that, even with like the journey that we took over those couple of years that we were doing our thing with BFS. You know, but like even with like, you know, me shifting more right over time, um like it's just like I just couldn't imagine like being the victim of a crime and being upset about it and like saying something that I don't even 100% mean, and then like because somebody else was offended by that, I now have to be like, I'm sorry, you know, like I don't even think you have to explain yourself, you know. I think it's understandable what you went through is causing something that or caused something that you wouldn't have believed otherwise, you know.
So Birdmois says your Streamlabs isn't linked below on YouTube. That is a problem, but thank you for the $10. Oh, Booty Whisperer gave me 15 and I missed it. He said, thank you for the laughs. Have a good stream. Keep it up, man. Consistency is key. So I have this person that I don't know how I'm going to refer to them as I have actual stalkers. This person's not a stalker. It's a jaded ex-friend who is upset that I stopped talking to them because they were politically extreme in a way that disturbs me, and they were vocal about it. And I'm like, no, I don't want anything to do with this. But they're still showing up to my streams because they're obsessed with me. I think it's because they're gay and they want to fuck me. I'm not even joking. Because they are gay and they have expressed the desire to fuck me. I think that's why they're still obsessed with me and won't let me go. But I'm like,
is his name Bert?
No, his name's Toot. It's not his real name. I'm not gonna share his real name on stream.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, should I acknowledge him? Should I make him part of the whack pack? How do I deal with this? But he asked me a question that weren't the Proud Boys just bodyguards against Antifa? So the way my understanding of the history of the Proud Boys is that they started as a fan club for Gavin McInnes, and they would meet and they would drink, and that was it. Then Gavin McInnes, when people started getting violent at speaking events, Gavin was like, I need bodyguards. Hey, a lot of you guys are into martial arts, right? Why don't you come be my bodyguards? And he was getting free security. I haven't been involved in the college Republican sphere in a long time, so I don't know how things work anymore. But what had happened when I left college, the way things had evolved, was that if you were going to invite a celebrity, if you were going to invite some random conservative guy no one has heard of, just some guy, and it was fine. If you were going to invite a celebrity like Gavin or Milo, it was too dangerous unless you had security. And that's where Turning Point and Young Americans for Freedom and Young Americans for Liberty, which is a different organization, came in. Turning Point was like, hey, we have millionaire backing, billionaire backing. We will pay for security for your event if it's one of our approved speakers. And so that's what really killed Milo's career, because Milo didn't have billionaire backers, at least not after his cancellation. And I don't know how it works now, but as far as I can tell, Turning Point USA still runs the college Republican speaking circuit. And so does Young Americans for Freedom, which is what Ben Shapiro is associated with. So my understanding is that now there really aren't people giving speeches on campuses, any conservative speakers giving speeches on campuses that aren't part of the duopoly. If that's changed, if they have anyone who's still in the college Republican scene who can let me know, please do. But that's my understanding of what's happened. Proud Boys went from a drinking club to being security for Gavin. And once they became security for Gavin, they started attracting more people who just wanted to fight. Then it became less about being ready to defend yourself against Antifa and more about going up to Antifa and actively antagonizing them so they attack you.
So some people were asking me if you've ever met Gavin.
No, I did not, but I came close. Gavin himself thought this was a secret at first. So I was told that this was a trade secret, not to share it. But then Gavin himself blew it on air. Gavin was going to come on had Fish Tank continued. Gavin McInnes and Nick Fuentes were both going to come on and debate me.
That's crazy.
And I actually would like to meet Gavin, because even though I'm disgusted by some of the things he's done these past few years, I was a fan of him, and I do think we have a lot of common ground. I think that if he was willing to actually talk to me as a person and not just troll me, I think we'd find that we have a lot in common. Not everything, obviously. I think there's a lot about me he'd hate. But I think we have some common ground. That's the best kind of a debate that's the kind I'd want to do the most. The kind where it's people who think very differently, looking for common ground between them. With Nick, I don't think there is any common ground. I don't think we'd find any common ground. On top of that, he is so much smarter than me. It would be him running circles around me, making these very complicated arguments about, well, here's why you should be put in a gas chamber and so should your whole family. And I wouldn't be able to defend myself because he would be constructing linguistic death traps. And I just wouldn't know how to respond. I'd be like, That's what I think would happen if I were to debate Nick Fuentes. So I'm relieved I didn't have to debate him, but I would have liked to debate Gavin. And I've thought about still contacting him and asking him if he still wants to do it, but I haven't made that move yet. I don't know if I want to, because I don't know if I want to be a politics guy. I mean, I don't have that many strong political views. I just don't like extremism, and I don't like bigotry. And I mean that in the actual literal sense, not what people mean now when they say they don't like bigotry.
I see what you're saying.
But yeah. So the beginning of the end for the Proud Boys, as I understand, was so I was a member for 4 months between the very end of August 2017. So this was a few weeks after the Boston free speech event that went wrong, through I think it was either January or February of the following year. So let's see, if it was 4 months. Yeah, it would have been January of the following year.
I can remember there was a time we were at a women's march. We were counter protesting that, and I remember you were telling me that like there was something up where like you might be leaving. So that I think that was like a January or February thing.
Okay, yeah, and I did end up. What's funny is I had just bought the uniform. I only wore it to one event. It was the event where I ended up getting kicked out.
Oh
Well,
man.
it wasn't kicked out. It was improve or you're gone. I was like, well, okay, I guess I'm gone. Because improving, it was a very, it wasn't like, here's the exact thing you're doing wrong. It's more like I wanted to be a part of it, but there were a lot of ways I just didn't fit with them. I'm a soy boy lib cuck type. These are macho men trucker types. We didn't have much in common. And also, they didn't actually like debating politics, if you can believe that. They liked going, yeah, fuck them libs, but having actual serious discussions and playing with ideas, they weren't that into it, especially if it was the controversial stuff.
Yeah, that's
Like,
why I never joined.
I had just discovered racial crime and IQ statistics, and I was very immature about it. I was like, "Hey, you see this? You see this table? What's up with that?" And I don't know what they are now, but at the time, it's funny. They're called a racist group. At the time, they were actually pretty anti-racist. They were anti-illegal immigration, but they were very pro Hispanic, very pro Black, They were Islamophobic. I don't think that was a racial thing. I think it was a Christian thing. But they weren't a racist group, and they were really bugged by my laissez attitude towards towards racism, because I was like still in a phase where one, I still thought it was funny. Well, I do still think it's funny, but I would force it on other people who didn't think it was funny, and then go, "Ha, you triggered lib. Ha ha, you triggered lib. You find this annoying. Well, that just means you're triggered." I would do that to them. Uh, Despite actually being to the left of most of the people there, I'd still do the ha 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 thing. But also, I outside of that, I just didn't have anything in common with them. I was a man child, and they were they were men of a type, very what Scott Alexander would call red tribe. They were very red tribe people, and I was very much a blue tribe person. So we didn't have anything in common, and so we kept getting into fights. I don't even remember at this point what the last fight was about. I just knew they were sick of my bullshit. Had I discovered rationalist meetups, I never would have joined the Proud Boys, because rationalist meetups, even though most of the people at rationalist meetups are left wing, they are much closer to me in every single respect. Not just in hobbies, but also in terms of ideology and attitude. Even back then, even though most of them would not vote for Trump and found the idea of voting for Trump disgusting, they loved playing with ideas, toying with them. And I didn't go to my first rationalist meetup until 2021. And I think, and had I discovered them earlier, I would have avoided the Proud Boys entirely. And I do wish I had discovered them earlier.
Yeah.
I haven't been to one.
Again,
I haven't been to one. Oh, sorry, just let me finish this.
Yeah.
I don't live near a rationalist meetup now, unfortunately. There are some people trying to start one in Ohio, and I hope it gets off the ground. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of what you're saying right now is just like, oh hey, like I was that way, but I'm not anymore. I swear, please. And it's like nobody even asked if you were in the first place. Like I feel like you don't have to explain like how you were something that you're not anymore. You know, especially like I said after what happened. You know, like me, like I probably would have gotten along well in the Proud Boys comparatively, but like I didn't want to join them specifically because like I don't do well in places where there's like macho dudes, because like I'll fight everybody, you know. um like when I first got involved in BFS, like I didn't know what Fed posting was. I had no clue what that was. So I'm sitting here like there was one time where a certain guy from the other group that broke off from us, resist Marxism, you know, like a guy from that group got jumped in Cambridge. And like when that happened, I wasn't like happy that our guy got beat up, even though he wasn't our guy. But I was like, oh, good. Like, it's escalating. Perfect. When are we going to fucking do something about these guys? When are we going to go into Cambridge and look for people with fucking Antifa shit on? You know, shirts, commie bullshit, whatever. And, like, I got yelled at by by people who were in the group before me. They were like, yo, stop fucking talking like that, dude. You're going to get us in trouble, you know? Like me...
I don't want...
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know if I want to talk too much about the guy who got assaulted, because he did genuinely go crazy, and I think it was in part because of the brain damage that afflicted him when he got jumped. I will say, I was starting to believe that maybe I'd overreacted, and that everything, that my feelings were stupid. I was overreacting, and that no, there was never any real danger at the event. And then I had work that night. I was supposed to be at that lefty event that he went to, and I would have been. Well, I don't know if I would have been left with him, but I would have been there with him. And he got jumped, and I realized that what happened to him could have happened to me had I not had work tonight, and that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But
Like, oh no, go
I
ahead.
haven't spoken to him since early 2018 because he went off his rocker.
Yeah, truth be told, I don't even remember his name. I got to be honest with you.
I remember his name. I remember his first and last name. It haunts me.
Oh man. Yeah, like I remember what happened with him. I remember some of the people that he was with that day. And I remember after the fact, we went into Cambridge and we actually protested. We flash mobbed the place that he got jumped at. Basically like, yo, we're here now. You gonna do something? Nobody did anything except for this drunk dude who like tried to get in one of our guys' faces. You weren't there that day, but there was like 4 or 5 of us. And I had to take that guy down. But like, other than that, it's like it was that classic thing where it's like if they don't outnumber you like 10 to 1, they're not gonna do anything, And that's like, again, like I didn't. If eventually somewhere down the line I kind of lost the plot. It wasn't just like, hey, we're standing up for free speech and we're protecting people. It was like, no, I was going to these events thinking, I wonder if that guy from the opposition is going to be there today. If he is, and I get a chance, he better watch out because I might take a swipe at him. Like that was my
That is what
mindset after
happened
a
to the
while.
Proud Boys, and that's how they turned into a legitimate gang. And I'm very much against that sort of thing.
Yeah, like me personally, I'm not against it just for the sake of like understanding the reality that like, okay, so Antifa from the get-go was talking about, hey, we want to hurt people. So it's like, well, if the person who says they want to hurt people, it shows up, I'm going to assume they're not lying about their intentions. And like you saw me at a lot of these things. Like I wasn't like a monster or anything like that. I wasn't like going up to people and just like beating the fuck out of them. But also like there were a couple of situations where it's like, no, I had to get handsy with somebody. And like we had to get handsy with people every now and again. But like overall, like I did lose the plot eventually in that way where it was like I started to be there not because I was like, yeah, free speech, we're gonna do it, but more because I was like, it's that tit for tat thing where it's like, oh, like I'm gonna see him today, and I'm gonna say the thing that pisses him off. He pissed me off last time. I'm gonna troll him this time, or like I said, like, all right, if there's a fight, like I'm gonna make sure that I at least get to take one swing at this guy. Like that sort of situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fine line between self-defense and starting a fight, and to me, where the line is when you're actively provoking people instead of trying to avoid them. And you could argue that me showing up counted as provocation, but I never intended to fight anyone. I mean, you saw us on the show. Not only can I not fight, I don't know how much of it is because I'm morally opposed to fighting, and how much of it is because I don't know how.
Mm.
Um,
I don't think anyone should be morally opposed to fighting. I think that's like I'm not saying that people should look for fights and like jump into them all the time. Like I know some of the things that I said make it sound like that I look for fights and stuff like that. I don't look for fights with people at all.
Brother, my brother, tell me why we fight, why we start this war. Isn't life worth so much more?
Yeah, but it's like I was saying, and then somebody in my chat, William H, just said the same thing. Like Antifa's whole thing is punching Nazis. Violence begets violence. It's um, like I think.
But don't get me wrong. No matter how bad the Proud Boys got, they were never as bad as Antifa.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like and that's kind of like my thing is like I remember Gavin McInnes went on Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan kind of read him the riot act, and it's like, yo, do you like Joe, do you know the kinds of people that they're fighting? Do you know the kinds of people we have to stand across from? Like the kinds of people where like we at least had an idea of like, okay, I wouldn't, if I saw this guy out with his mom or his dad or his family or whatever, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's that guy that I want to beat the hell out of. But he's with his family right now. I'm gonna just leave him alone. They wouldn't give us that, you know? Like anything and everything that we would give them, they would never give back to us, you know? We were always open to them talking to us, you know? Like if they wanted to speak about whatever, even if it was like we just disagree with each other and like we go our separate ways, fine, whatever. But like it was never like, oh hey, like let's talk and then something erupts. It's like, no, like we explicitly came here today to try and hurt innocent people, including women and children. Um, and if we have the opportunity, we're going to, and like we're gonna do awful things. We're gonna bring weapons with us. We're gonna have like spike gloves. We're gonna have like all this other shit, you know? I remember we got bopped for carrying fucking flagpoles. You know, they were
I
like,
remember
oh,
that too.
people, yeah, like, oh, people are using flagpoles as weapons. Meanwhile, I'm looking at Antifa and they got like other shit that is like no one would ever wear something like that out as a fashion statement. It's very clearly just like meant to be like a fist pack or some other thing like that that's meant to do more damage to us. People wrapping their fists poorly, by the way. I can remember this one guy, he wrapped his hands so bad it was like it looked like he had paper towels on them. It's like these are scum of the earth people, to the point where like I'm not about that in the way that I was anymore, but like it would be really hard for me if I happen to bump into some of the people that we knew back then to not be like, what's up, you know? Like people don't realize that like what we were in was something that like if you made a movie about it, people would watch it and they'd be like, whoa, that's crazy, you know? Like we were really in like a weird spy versus spy gang thing, except it wasn't gangs, you know? We weren't a gang. We had people on the opposition that we knew by name and that knew us, and that like we would go out of our way to try and like gather intel on each other and shit like that. And then like if something was to erupt, it's like, all right, well, let's look for the guys we know. Um, you know, like it was and again, that's why I kind of got lost in the weeds, is because like that was exciting to me. You know, that was an adventure. And it's like it's just crazy to recollect it, even though we're doing it in like a way that's rambly and like we're jumping around and all this stuff. It's just so crazy to talk about it, including publicly right now. This is the first time I've ever mentioned anything about it in public before.
Yeah, I the first time I've ever mentioned anything about it under my real name was on the show, and I was willing to do it because I thought that it's going to come out no matter what. Might as well get in front of it and earn a fish buck. Um, to my surprise, I don't think anyone had dug that up before I brought it up, so it actually
Mm.
was me. With that said, I wasn't going to mention the Proud Boys. I was going to talk about Boston Free Speech, but I had no interest in talking about the Proud Boys. That came up because I don't know who it was, but someone from that group apparently thought it would be fun to give me a shout out over the TTS.
Oh man, damn, that sucks.
For the record, if it was you and you were just pretending, uh, I won't be mad at you. I'll be a little annoyed, but I'll know you didn't mean anything by it. Was it
No,
you?
no, that wasn't me. Cause honestly, like when I think about you in terms of that, I like we knew each other for like a month or two where you were in the Proud Boys and I wasn't a Proud Boy, so I never ran into them. So it's like when I think of the Proud Boys, I don't think of you in the first place. So like I wouldn't have even thought like, oh, let's mess around and talk about the Proud Boys and haha. Like, you know, that wasn't me. I swear that
There are
wasn't
only a
me.
select few people who would have known, and you're one of them. So that's why I'm getting. But
Hmm.
I don't know who it was. Maybe if I called up my one contact who's still in the group, the guy who I don't formally associate with, but who I still check in with once or twice a year. I do wonder if he would be willing to tell me. But even if with that got that information, like what would I do with it? Like I'm just like would I go up to this guy who apparently thought I don't even know if they were trying to fuck with me or if they just thought I'd laugh it off and go, "Oh yeah, I remember." Like they probably had, like they may have had no clue probably such a homosexual name. You know, it's weird to me how people don't get the joke. It's supposed to be homosexual. That was part of the joke. Gavin's from a generation where people who are just friends pretending to be gay lovers were the funniest shit in the world. Like, and people are like, hey, Proud Boys, that sounds like, yes, that was the joke. Gavin's the same guy that shoved a black dildo up his ass on camera. I was like, oh, well, if you're homophobic, you should know something about me. Like, it's weird to me how people keep just thinking they're original coming up with that. But sorry, I'm going out to because of the chat. I don't know what the person who made that initial TTS had in mind, whether they expected me to freak out, whether they just thought I'd laugh about it. But it did, I was like, oh, fuck, that's come out. And this was, if I recall correctly, before I decided to come out and talk about Boston free speech. Like, I was like, which is all the more reason why I thought it was inevitable. I was like, well, if the Proud Boys shit came out, the shit that I actually am more ashamed of, then this shit's definitely coming out. Yeah, so this would be the second time I've spoken about it publicly, the first time being in the cell. And I was kind of sad that, because I had planned to get I keep calling him Sam. I need to call him Gold Striker. I planned to get Gold Striker in a confessional with me and talk about it with him, and I thought it would be a cool moment, and he would offer insight. And instead of insight, he's just like, "Yeah, man, leftists are scum." I'm like, "Well, no, I don't think that way anymore, Jason. Now I think it's that human beings have a propensity to see each other as the bad guy. Yeah, that's boring. Yeah, but I mean, the right can be violent too. Yeah, it's good when the right's violent." I still don't know how much of what he said he actually meant and how much of was just him trying to fuck with me in that moment. But I do know that off camera, he was a sweet guy.
Oh yeah, you know, Sam's a really good guy. I've known him for a few years now. I actually people talk about this, like I don't know if you realize, but like I didn't know about Sam until I met you guys, and you were one of the people who was talking about Sam and his comedy, and I was like, hey, who's that? And you guys turned me on to Sam's stuff. So I wouldn't even be here right now if it wasn't for you and like those guys. Which is funny how it all comes full circle, and now you were on the show. But yeah, like overall, I think Sam was probably serious to a certain extent, because like at the end of the day, there is an objective good and bad, and when it comes down to it, anybody who is trying to hurt you for a reason other than like you're trying to hurt them or something like that, like it's really hard to justify that outside of those circumstances.
Oh, I agree completely. I'm just saying I no longer think this is something intrinsic to the left. I think the left is just in a position where they can get away with it more. But I recognize that if the right had that same kind of cultural power, they'd do it too.
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, it's also a situation where it's like, yeah, I mean, like if you have the power to destroy the enemies that would do it to you, you definitely should, you know? And I think that's probably what he means by that. It's not that it's necessarily like, oh, violence is good. It's no, like, it's good for you and your own to have power, and it's good for you and your own when you have that power to utilize it to stop the people that want to kill you, because that's what they want to do. They've said it to us plenty of times, you know. In fact, in the Pacific Northwest, they killed Jay Danielson. I forget what his name, what his like code name, if you want to call it, was, but I can remember when they literally had a targeted assassination against like a high level like Proud Boy Patriot. Not Patriot Prayer, not Patriot Front guy. Back in like 2018, 2019. Like these people,
This.
what's that?
I was saying I remember this.
Yeah, like these people want us dead, you know, and again, that's why I was so militant about it, and I'm militant about it to this day, where it's like I'm not going to start swinging on people, but also like I don't see the stifling of the left wing as a bad thing inherently. Now, if you want to talk about like, well, free speech is important and like, you know, like whatever we do might come back to haunt us, then you would have a good point, you know, and that would be something where we'd have to think about how we could stifle them without like having it come back on us. I actually did a video recently regarding asylums, because I guess Trump he did he signed an executive order to make it so that states can open up asylums again and commit people, much in the way that we think of when we think of asylums. Like that's something that made me a little bit nervous because like what happens in 48 years when there's a Democrat in there who's like, actually, I think if you're a conservative of any kind, you're crazy, so we're putting you in there. Like,
That's what the Soviets did. They said political dissidents were crazy and threw them in asylums.
yeah, and I literally talked about that in the video. Like that was where my head went to immediately. Like there's certain ideological or like tactical reasons to be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't have such an iron fist, but like pragmatically or maybe not pragmatically, but theoretically it makes sense. So if there's a way you can make the pragmatism meet the theory, then I definitely think you should do it, you know. And I know you're not exactly like in alignment with me on every little thing, so that probably to some degree doesn't sound that appealing to you, but like just talking on a level of like, hey, like if you have power and you know your enemy would kill you if they had the same kind of power you had, what do you do about that, you know?
How do you feel about Trump's second term?
um I'm waiting for the economy to improve more, honestly, because like I shit you not, like that's why I wanted Trump to win a second time. I don't vote. I've never voted for a president before. I have a guy that I'll be like, oh, I hope he gets in, but like overall, I'm obviously not very happy about the Epstein shit. But like overall, you know, like put that aside. I at least hope the economy improves more. I hope that wages are able to rise in an organic way, not just like oh, we're raising the minimum wage way, but like, you know, the value of the dollar gets better, I guess you could say. I have hope. I have hope is what I'm saying, and I think if anybody was going to do it in the current political world that we have, it would be Trump, you know. So overall, I wouldn't say that I'm like in love with him, but I'm also waiting for like late 2026 to see if things get drastically better from where they were, and if they do, then all right, fantastic. Still not happy about the Epstein shit, but you know, at least I can afford fucking rent again, you know.
See, I've admitted. So I asked because this whole attitude of, well, we have to get them before they get us, is that's what's behind. That's behind a lot of the more authoritarian actions that Trump's doing. I don't think Project 2025 was literally a blueprint for what Trump's going to do, but I do think the people who wrote it were animated by the same spirit that's animating a law of the right. And it's a spirit that I don't share, which is we should be like we should do what the left does, but we should do it for us. Um, Curtis Yarvin, who admittedly I haven't read that much of. I just listened to a number of interviews with him because his writing style is so rambly. Is definitely a big part of that. And he's now hopefully part. I don't know if he's part of Fish Tank lore, but he's part of Aryeh lore now because I called my insult that made Alex B hate me, and he'll hate me forever now. Is I called him the white trash Curtis Yarvin.
Yeah, well, that's funny.
And you think that if you know who Curtis Yarvin is, the fact that I called him white trash should be canceled out by the fact that I called him compared him to Curtis Yarvin. Because I'm comparing you to someone who is so super educated that he talks in a way only grad students can understand. I'm just saying you're like him, but white trash. That's not that insulting.
You're sitting here like, Curtis who? You're on my
Yeah.
shit list now, Aryeh. I'm coming for you. Don't just wait. The Monkey King.
No, I think he could be a great voice actor or comedian or like character actor. There are lots of things he could do if he got his temper under control because he has a very funny way of speaking.
Oh yeah, yeah. He did voice acting could definitely be his thing 100%. He wouldn't even have to like change it too much. He could be one of those dudes that like his voice is so iconic that they just have him as like almost like a voice actor typecast. You know,
Yeah,
anytime
like
they no, go
I
ahead.
can think of two guys like that: Patrick Warburton and Richard Horvitz. They always do the same voice, but people love those two voices so much they keep getting gigs.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Alex has one of those voices for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't put too much thought into Alex hating you anyway. You know, I think he kind of he changes with the wind. You know, he's even talked a little shit about me. I've never spoken to Alex, never been in the same room as him. He saw clips of me on Bitch Tank throwing like, you know, just doing shadow boxing because I was bored in a room alone, and he was like, who's he think he is? You're on my shit list, buddy. He was like that. He was like, holy fuck.
So I'm going to ask you about how you got involved in the MDE sphere, but first I'm going to talk about my involvement, which for all I know is over. I'll say this. I was told that I if Sam has any real opinions on me. I don't think I know I'm sure he doesn't dislike me. The impression I got was that Jet and Ben genuinely liked not just me, but every single person in the season four cast, and every single person in the season four cast. The only person I recall saying "you're my favorite" was Mintz. Uh, but but every single person in the season four cast was told, "Listen, once we get our act together, we're going to try to invite you back for something."
Mm.
What are we going to invite you back for? We don't know yet. Like people are like, "Are you coming back for season five?" Like after the last time I spoke to them, they have no clue if they want any of us back for season five. They have no clue if they want any of us back for Blood Games. They just know they want us back for something, and they don't know what that something is. And when I find out, it'll probably be the same time the rest of the world finds out. But the way I got involved was I auditioned for season two, did not get any response. I auditioned for season four. Uh, thank you, Mr. McAllister. No, I'm not bad mouthing Sam. He seems like a really nice guy. But what was I saying? The season four, they got back to me. Sam was dying laughing when he told your Proud Boy story. I mean, I don't need Sam to love him. I'm just saying, I don't know how Sam feels about the contestants in general. I just know that Jet and Ben were really positive to all of us, and Mintz was positive to me specifically. He was really excited to dress me up in more costumes, and I was excited to wear more costumes. But where was I going? Season four, I auditioned, and they did get back to me, and I asked them, "Well, why did you get back to me this time instead of season two?" And they said, "You auditioned for season two?" Yeah. I sent this audition. I said this in my. I don't remember any of that. Like they said in Osway, like I don't remember any of that. Like I have no idea how they didn't remember my season two audition. I think I sent it 4 days maybe at after the casting call was posted on their Instagram. So maybe they just accidentally skipped it. Maybe they saw so many they couldn't remember all of them. But yeah, I just went through the normal audition process and it worked the second time. And I do wonder if I would have been better off with season two because season two sounds harsher, but at the same time, season two actually finished. Season four did not finish. So and also I could have bumped into you in season two. It would have been an epic moment.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Oh my god! I wish that they brought you back for season four so we could have had that moment on screen.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
But how'd you get involved?
So I've told this story a few times. In 2021, I tried out for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, BKFC. It's bare knuckle boxing, and uh, they have tryouts, right? You don't have to fight anyone there, but it's a skills showcase. So you hit the heavy bag, you hit some mitts, you know, you shadow box, you go for a run, stuff like that. And at all these tryouts they have all over the nation, there's like a maximum of like 20 people there. So I'm like, oh, like those are pretty good odds, all things considered. I show up to the one that has like well over 100 people there. So there was no way I was getting noticed for anything other than my red hair, you know. They already had favorites anyway, you know. Um, so I'm like, okay, I know not all hope is lost. I just got to hit up the matchmaker. The guy's very accessible. So I wrote a small message and I was like, I want to make sure this doesn't sound autistic. Sam Hyde, I've been watching his stuff for a little while now. Again, thanks to you and the other guys from BFS. But like, why don't I hit him up? I don't even think he's gonna get back to me. Maybe he'll like see that and he'll be like, yeah or no. I send it to him, and he gets back to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'd hire you." And at first, I was like, "Oh, he's fucking with me, isn't he? He's definitely fucking with me." But he reassured me that like, no, like this is actually really good. So I send it to the guy, and he gets back to me, but there was some shit that kind of got in the way for me being able to fight on the card. I hope to be able to fight on one of those cards in the future, but that's on the back burner for now. Um, the next time I talk to Sam is probably a few months later, probably like 4 or 5 months later, where this is when he started the wanting to box Hassan Piker thing, and me, I don't like Hassan Piker. So I was like, well, if I can't punch Hassan Piker, maybe I can train the guy who punches Hassan Piker if he says yes. So I offer my services to him, and since we had already talked before, he gave me a shot, and it just kind of grew into like me being an extra on World Peace, and then I was also involved in a couple of streams that they did on their YouTube
First
channel.
off, it was Extreme Peace.
Ah, yes, Extreme Peace, Extreme
Second,
Peace.
I am very envious. I don't get a lot of the Extreme Peace stuff because the sketches he does are very artsy, whereas his stand-up is just funny, funny, funny. And I
Mm.
prefer the stuff that's just him being funny. But I have a respect for Extreme Peace, World Peace, that stuff because it's so artsy and ambitious, and because I don't always get it. And I would have loved to have been an extra on that.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, continue.
yeah. It was a really good experience. I'm thankful above all. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and that led to the fish tank situation where I was training him for a fight that at that time had already come. It was like August, I think, of 2022. He had me coaching a couple other people. Like I helped to coach Brandon Buckingham for his fight against Ice Poseidon. He won that. I was going to help out more with Jeremy from the quartering, but unfortunately that fell through. His fight fell through. It didn't happen, so he didn't need to come back out here. But I got to train with him a couple of times. Harley Morenstein from Epic Mealtime. I got to train with him once, and then also Froggy Fresh. I was like right in the middle of the Froggy Fresh situation with iDubbbz. Not like an actor in that situation necessarily, but like it's still crazy to me when I think about it because like the day Froggy got canceled, I was sitting across from him at a crab shack and he's like reading off tweets to me that he's getting sent in real time. It's like I was sitting across from the dude as he was getting like canceled and like as the controversy that was going to get him kicked off the card was happening, and I was just like, holy, like at the time I didn't realize how crazy it was, but I was still like, man, this is crazy. But like when that happened, I was like, wow, oh fuck, yeah, something did happen, shit. But yeah, that's how I became kind of involved in the MDE sphere. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I was supposed to be on Blood Games 2. I was actually one of the writers for Blood Games 2. If Blood Games 2 happens, I would assume I'm gonna get brought back for that because we had the writing like 70 to 80% of the way done. And there were some things that we were putting finishing touches on. But yeah, I mean, Sam seems to have moved on from the boxing thing, and it's not like I'm a comedy guy, so you're probably not going to see me on tour with them or anything. But yeah, the last few years of my life have just been that.
That is amazing. So, had I not deleted the Discord account that had contact with you and contact with all those people, or if I had otherwise gone out of my way to maintain contact with you, do you think I would have gone involved in Fish Tank earlier? Do you think you would have been able to help me with that?
Yeah. I mean, I like I probably could have been like I probably would have been like, hey, like this is a good guy to have on. I definitely could have vouched for you. I'm not saying that it like 100% would have been like, oh yeah, dude, we'll have him on for sure. But like if you sent me your thing, I could have sent it to them as well and been like, hey, like I've known this guy for years. He's the kind of guy you want on Fish Tank. People are going to like him. He's going to be a fan favorite. So I don't know, like maybe you would have been on season 2, even as a plant or something like that, where it's like, okay, he knows Scott. We're gonna have Scott here. He's gonna be the karate guy, so maybe we can't have him on as like a contestant, but we'll have him on as like a plant or something like that. You know, I think that's probably how it would have happened if it did work out for season 2.
Let this be a valuable lesson to everyone in the audience. Always maintain contact with your old friends, even if the thing that tied you together is gone. They will have opportunities that you will miss out on. I mean, I would say it all worked out, and maybe it did, but my season ended early.
Yeah, yeah. Like, see, it sucks too because I think season 4 was on track to be the best season, and like I said, I it kind of made me jealous a little bit because I don't think I was going to be involved in season 4 like that. I guess we were going to have a Blood Games day close to the end because the original plan was to have Blood Games right after season 2, what the hell, season 4 ended. I don't know if it was going to be like cameras inside go down, cameras outside go up, but it was supposed to be like season 4 rolls into Blood Games. Um, so like it would make sense that like to hype Blood Games, we would have like a Blood Games day. I don't know if I would have been brought in for that, but like I also wasn't holding my breath to be a part of season 4 either because I wasn't brought in for season 3. um but overall, like it sucks what happened with season 4 because with Bam coming in with the cast, I think it was probably the strongest cast since season 2, and probably stronger than season 2 in certain ways. um it was just going to be a great season, you know. So, you know, rip season 4. Hopefully season 5 has something with you guys, you know. Oh, excuse me. Or like, and or you get brought in for Blood Games, you know.
I'm fine with either. What I, at first when I got out, I was like, "Well, will I come back if they invite me? Depends what it is. I'll have to see." That was my attitude because I left thinking that. So my understanding is of what happened is that everyone loved me at first, but as they got to know my character flaws, uh, I they soured on me.
Mm.
At the end, I thought they hated me, but looking at stuff online, I don't think they hated me. They were just disappointed in me, and I do think. And once I understood that very few people, if any, actually hated me, I was like, well, in that case, hell yeah, I'll come back for anything. And also, I
Mm.
didn't realize how much I missed it. I there was a lot of hell, but there was also a lot of fun, and that you don't really recognize how. I don't know if this is a common thing for this, but you don't really recognize just how good a time you had and how unique a time you had until it's over.
Mm.
And so anything they'll have me back for, I'm going to be involved no matter what. I'm down.
Oh yeah. They a friend of mine said that that's called type 2 fun, where it's like in the middle of it you're like this sucks, but then afterwards you're like, oh no, actually that was good. But yeah, like um oh shoot, oh damn, I was gonna say something and I blanked, and now I'm gonna be mad at myself. Oh yeah, yeah, like I make the mistake of reading stuff too. You know, I'm not like, I don't read as much as I used to, but if something's put right in front of me, it's like, okay, like I'm gonna read it. But like, don't take what people have to say about you to heart too much because these are people who like it's the internet. You know how people are on the internet. You can have like the nicest guy you've ever met, but when they get on the internet, it's like just racial slurs and like other horrid things, you know. Um that's just the internet. It's like me, like there's a lot of people who still don't even like me. I haven't been involved in Fish Tank in 2 seasons. It's been a year since I have been on a fish tank related thing, and there's still people who bring me up for no reason, and it's because like there's like it's got nothing to do with me, and it's got nothing to do with you when those people are doing that. Like even if you do something that annoys people, it's like obsessing over it, getting that upset about it is like, nah, that's got nothing to do with you. Sure, you annoyed them, but like if they're still annoyed even 5 minutes later, it's like, nah, that's a them problem, you know. And you know, it took me a long time to realize that because me, like, I never expected more than like 20 people to know who I am at any given time. So now like I'm on a live stream with like tens of thousands of people on it that like they expect me to do a song and dance and do it the right way so that I don't get on their nerves. It's like fuck, I don't know how to handle that. So like I'm looking at my stuff and I'm like, oh man, like damn, like I don't know, maybe I suck, but it's like no, I don't suck. It's those people have some kind of issue that makes them that way. You know, if it makes sense what I'm trying to say.
I would like to take this time. I have 5 requests to read a username off 20 times. So that's 100 different things I have to read. Let's see. Aryan. There's a guy named Aryan, but with an E in place of the second A. Drew Manny. Each of this is, I think, worth like $1 each. I don't actually remember how much I said it for. Drew May. Drew Manny is really pay pigging tonight. Drew Manny. And next is Drew Manny. And while I was doing this, someone bought another one. And it's Gluteus Minimus. Gluteus Minimus, 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 Minimus. Okay, so, oh, motherfucker. Someone paid for. I'm not doing this until I'm done with Scott. I'm not doing this one until I'm done with Scott. Aryeh reads anything out loud up to 500 words. Someone entered 500 different characters that I have to read, and it's all just random numbers and letters.
Oh man,
but I'll do it. I swear I'll do it. Just putting it off for now. So
I am gonna get out of here soon though, because I gotta be up early tomorrow for a thing that I got. So
okay, well, do you know what I was doing in the time? I don't know how close you got up on the show, but I did talk about what I've been doing since 2019. So during the 6-year period where we didn't talk, do you have any idea what I've been doing?
No. I heard you describe a little bit on the show, but I haven't not anything in depth.
I graduated college, then failed to keep I think 3 different jobs. Then I went to every job I've had, I've been fired from, except for one that I quit. And the one that I quit before Fish Tank, because I quit it to go to trade school, I've been thinking constantly, did I make the right choice in quitting this job to go to trade school? Because for all I know, it was a part-time job, but I was on a trajectory to go full-time. That could have been it. That could have been my thing. And it was not something that you could just jump into after you leave, because it's a very unique position. I networked with the guy at the right party, and it was basically me being his gopher as this guy was running this company. And it's not something you exactly apply for. And I quit it to go to trade school. And I've been thinking nonstop, was this the right thing? Was this the right thing? Was this the right thing? And after trade school, and I failed to get a job in the thing that I'd studied, I decided it was the wrong thing. So you missed me getting fired from a bunch of jobs, graduating college, getting fired from a bunch of jobs, quitting one job to go to trade school. Trade school being a mistake, and me getting fired from more jobs. And I came in the Fish Tank at a very low point in my life. Like, a friend of mine who now thinks going on Fish Tank was probably for the best. He told me that he was worried about me because he thought that I was suicidal when I applied for Fish Tank. And I told him that he's not entirely wrong. I thought it was going to destroy me and I would not recover. And, thank you for the, what's it called? Thank you for the 50% stream migration thing. But, Fish Tank, and during the time I kept alternating between this is a great thing and this is a bad thing. And towards the end, I was convinced it was a bad thing, but that maybe I could still salvage something. And then when I got out, I realized it was a good thing all along. So yeah, now you're up to speed on everything, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. fucking, I'm sorry to hear that, man. You know, like you just got to keep on trucking. That's like that's what you're gonna do anyway. You know, like you're gonna wake up every day and keep on moving forward. You know, like I know you'll find something. You just gotta keep an eye out, and you can't get down on yourself. You can't get in your own head about shit. You know, I know you got some issues that make it hard to do certain things, but like I do believe there is something out there for everybody, and you know, like fish tank definitely seems to have been a good thing for you. I mean, like you got to go collab with a bunch of different people, um that like you would have never known otherwise. You know, you have friendships with people that you wouldn't have known if it wasn't for that. So you know, I'm glad that fish tank seems to have been a good thing for you. You know.
Yeah, and my goal is I hope I can become some sort of online personalities in my career. To my knowledge, multiple women have turned Fish Tank into lucrative careers, but the only man who's done it is Bert. Everyone else either disappeared or does it as a side thing. And I mean, if I do it as a side thing, it's not going to be a bad thing. It's still something. But my hope is first I have to figure out what people want from me. The answer I've been getting so far is just be yourself. And it's like, and it's like, okay, I guess that is what I'm doing. Like, but also I have people who are like, we want to hear your thoughts on political issues. But also people who are like, no, we want to hear you talk about cartoons. So it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm still figuring it out, but I am optimistic about it. Cautiously optimistic, I should say, because I know I still have a little bit of that fish tank fear in me, but
Mm,
I'm mostly optimistic.
yeah. I'm not telling you what exactly to do, you know, but like I think cartoons might be a good avenue for you because like even like the thing about fish tank is that you know like there's always going to be new fish, you know, like right now you are you're the new fish, but when they get a new place and when they have a new season, um there's going to be new fish that people are looking at, you know. So like what you're going to want to the best of your ability is a situation where you can try and get people who are not like, excuse me, who are not through fish tank. And I mean, there's a lot of people I used to watch like Rebel Taxi and like, you know, Mr. Enter and stuff like that back in the day. It was like my preferred slop content for like a year, you know.
I wrote a
um
review of Mr. Enter's channel in the Fish Tank Times. I was told the Fish Tank Times was posted online. I don't know if it actually was. Um, but the Rebel Taxi, I did manage to get him to respond to me, so that was cool.
oh, that's sick.
I wish the podcast still existed because if the podcast still existed, I'd probably be on it right now.
Oh yeah, well you know, me, like when I started my YouTube channel, I had dollar signs in my eyes, right? And eventually I realized that there was a certain level of work that I was not willing to put in, and it's not even that I wasn't willing to, it's that like I had too much shit on my plate, you know? And because of that, I didn't have like the energy to do certain things, even though I had dudes that I could collab with. Like I could have went to Baltimore and like collabed with like Brandon Buckingham on something. Like that would have been a big collab, especially now. Like Brandon's huge compared to how he even was back in the day when I was helping him to train. Froggy Fresh, there's people that I could have collabed with, and I could probably still collab with them if it came down to it. But like like the what I'm saying is like I definitely missed opportunities with my YouTube channel, and there's reasons for that. It's not that I wasn't aware that the opportunities were there. Like you're in a situation where you should definitely strike while the iron's hot with whatever you're doing. And if you can get Rebel Taxi to answer you, I don't know what he's up to now, you know, but like if you can collab with him in some way, if you can do other stuff with like, you know, cartoon stuff or you know other things that people say they want you to go in that direction, like that now's the time to do it for sure, you know. And like I wish you luck on that because working a job fucking sucks, you know. Like I know you're like, I don't have a job, I need a job, like I feel shitty that I don't have one. You're gonna get a job that you're like, okay, I can actually keep this, and you're gonna be like, man, it sucks having to get up every day at
I
like
did kind of have that, and it was the last job I got fired from, which was the security job, because they wouldn't give me a day shift. They would only give me overnight shifts, and I hated the overnight
mhm.
shifts.
Yeah,
Since the
yeah.
So I do kind of know what it feels like.
Yeah, like if I had the energy to, and if I had the ability to just go wherever, because that's really the problem, is that like I teach all the classes at my gym, so because of that I can't just go places. That's part of the reason I wasn't involved in Congregated, which was Greg's thing that just got done. Um like I know Greg was probably like, okay, I'll hit up Scott and gauge whether or not he might want to be involved in this. And like I kind of like stonewalled him on it. I was like, oh, that's cool, maybe we can do something over the internet for it, haha, because I knew like, okay, I gotta be at the gym every day, so like you're almost in a certain place where it's like, if you don't have to have a job right this second, and you have that notoriety, and you have the kind of notoriety that people are like following you, and they kind of have an idea of who you are, and they will answer your DMs and stuff like that, like you should definitely do it for sure,
Well,
like
to be
100%.
fair, Rebel Taxi only responded to me because Ricky. What happened was Ricky at his place was like, "Hey, you want to talk to YouTubers?" Yeah. So I messaged a bunch of YouTubers on Ricky's account. So it,
Oh, I
it
see.
wasn't. So it wasn't the same thing, but still,
Yeah.
I'm part of Ricky's extended crew now. Yep, I'm already going to collaborate with him on at least one more project. So that is
Mm.
a great connection. I I love traveling around the country. I love going to big cities and seeing different things. Um, and and I want the opportunity to to do that more.
Mm.
Um, if I had a work from home job, and content creation is a work from home job, that would be perfect. And I do hope I can figure this stuff out. Um, right now, I think it's because I haven't been doing it consistently. My streams are, I get about 30 people per stream now, whereas when I started, I got about 100. And I think part of it is just people, the excitement of, oh, Aryeh streaming's one off. Part of it is I think I haven't been consistent. I'm still trying to figure out what my schedule will be because I don't
Mm.
know. Because the way I've been making up everything on the fly, but I think that I need to figure out like a time and commit to it. I know for sure I want to do Tuesdays every week, but I don't know which other days, and I haven't decided that yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. A schedule is really good. Like I have people in my chat. Sorry to the people in my chat. I haven't been engaging with you much, but like I have people in my chat that I see pretty much every stream, and like they know to show up. I don't do a ton of like, hey everybody, I'm streaming in 3 hours. Like I don't do a ton of that. It's just I stream and people are like, "Oh yeah, it's Wednesday night. Scott's streaming. I guess I'll pop in there and hang out for a little while." I don't get a ton of people either. Like I don't even get 30 viewers peak concurrent anymore. I used to be able to get that. Um but like at the very least, like like the hardcore dudes that actually fuck with me, like they're here every stream because I'm not just going like live on a Tuesday one week, and then like a Saturday the next week, and then a Tuesday again the next week after that, etc., etc.
That makes sense. I I do have started the script for an actual YouTube video, but it's harder than it sounds, and I've set a deadline. I need to have this thing locked by August 6th. That's my self-imposed deadline, and it's the first now, a half hour
Mhm.
into the first. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh yeah, man.
Anything else you want to talk about before we depart? Or actually, I don't even know if I'm going to stop streaming. I have to see how my chat's feeling. But anything else you want to talk about?
No, no, I should get out of here myself because like I said, I got something early tomorrow. But it was nice to catch up with you, man, and I definitely want to stream again. We can
Right.
I know there was an idea or two that we shared with each other in the DM. We can develop those out, or we can figure something else out that we
Yeah.
can do.
Or we don't even have to be on stream to talk. But I do plan on talking to you again.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Okay. See you later, Scott.
Oh yeah, good to see you, man.
Bye.
Uh oh, oh, uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh wait, actually, hold on 1 second, everybody. Hold on 1 second. Um, and then let's just see here. I have to Go, bada bing, bada boom. Ah, yes, there we go. Man, it was good to talk to that dude again. I'm really happy to have been able to talk to Aryeh, or as I was calling him, Easy. He was calling me my old name, or a variation of the old name that I went by. Um, and we told a couple of different stories there. We didn't go into the whole saga with BFS or anything like that, but I plan on going through that whole saga. Look, I know Aryeh has a penchant for rambling. Um, I didn't want to be jumping all over him every 2 seconds, like, all right, you're rambling again, dude. Fucking, I wanted him to at least try to get some ideas out and stuff like that. It's not good to be like jumping all over somebody all the time, even if what they're doing is like, oh boy, here we go. But yeah, Aryeh was a really cool guy back then. I still kind of can't believe that he ended up on season 4 of Fish Tank. Um, independent of me too. It's not like he legitimately knew that that was me on 1 and 2. It's not like I expected him to be on season 4 or anything like that. And truth be told, I wasn't going to watch a ton of season 4 either. I figured, you know what, like, I want to focus on Blood Games, and then in addition to that, I want to put an illusion of space between me and Fish Tank so that when Blood Games happens, I will be surprising people with my return for Blood Games 2 and stuff like that. It was such a shock that I was like, oh fuck, I gotta watch every second of every day now. Get a buzzer and slap it when he goes over 2 minutes. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. That could be a fish toy for him on the Fish Tank site. It could be the hurry up buzzer or something like that. Um, I don't know about schedules. I just get notifications from YouTube when Fish Tank people stream. Ah, yes, that makes sense too, Zachary. I think having the first ever video you make be a 1 hour plus video essay might not be the best idea. I don't know. I don't know. It could it be? Could it not be? I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'm gonna stick around for another like 2 or 3 minutes just to kind of talk to you guys for a second. I don't even know who's still here. There's probably like nobody watching or something like that. Everybody's probably like, all right, Aryeh is gone. We're out of here. Oh wow, 24 whole viewers right now. That's a big one. Wow, I had 34 viewers was my peak. This is a really good stream for me. Thank you everybody who's here. Excuse me. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys, as you know. Oh, excuse me, but oh man, trying to think if there's anything else to talk about, any updates or anything like that. But I don't think I have any updates or stuff like that. I have a couple of videos coming out. One of them is going to be about the Cleveland attack. No, Cleveland Cincinnati attack. Actually, Aryeh is in Ohio right now. He lives in Ohio. He used to live in the Massachusetts area, not too far from where I lived at the time. But um, there was an attack on some people in Cincinnati that was very clearly racially motivated, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that in a couple of different ways. For one thing, there is the technical way, which is to be like, hey, this is where these people went wrong in the middle of this conflict. But then there's also the philosophical way, the political way. Like, what are the ramifications of this in a political or philosophical sense? The technical side is going to be on the channel. I have to make some edits for that. The philosophical side is going to be behind the paywall. It's going to be on Patreon because I feel like that's probably the best place to put it. It's the best way to have it. Oh man, I gotta pee. I gotta pee, dude. But it's all right. I'm gonna hold it for another minute. Um, Get a buzzer and slap it when he goes over 2 minutes. Was it good catching up with your acquaintance or debating and stuff? I mean, that's just the way Aryeh is. He's the kind of guy where when you say something, he'll argue with you about it, but not in a way that's like even annoying necessarily. Yeah, sure. Like you're not always in the mood to argue about stuff, obviously, right? But like you can debate with him in a way that is not aggressive. It's not like annoying when you are in the mood to debate like that. So it was nice, you know, it was nice. I'm glad that we were able to catch up, you know. We caught up a little bit before that. The technical difficulties and stuff like that, part of it was that he and I were catching up. Part of it was that he and I were just like talking about shit, you know. Does Aryeh have a driver's license? I don't know. I don't know if he has a driver's license. He might. I don't know. You know, maybe not. I suppose we'll find out when if we see him driving around, then we'll know. Then we'll know. Um, man, but today is a Thursday, or yesterday was a Thursday. Today is a Friday. It is now currently 12:35 a.m. in the state of Massachusetts, and this was a good stream. I appreciated everybody being here. I'm not leaving right this second. Right this second. I'm kind of hoping, because here's the thing. I feel bad that I was ignoring the chat for a lot of this stream. Obviously it was for a reason, and a good reason at that, right? But I feel kind of bad about it. So I'm almost like, okay, let's give everybody a chance to say everything they wanted to say to me that I didn't read before. Let's make sure everybody can say what they want to say, and I answer it. Let's make sure, you know. But yeah, I had a really fun time with this stream. Thank you everybody who showed up today. And we're gonna stream tomorrow as well. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do tomorrow, you know, but we will be streaming Sunday as well. Oh yeah, somebody who said they wanted to play War of Rights again. I don't think tomorrow will be a War of Rights stream. Maybe Sunday will be a War of Rights stream, but tomorrow will just be another chill stream. Maybe I should put something together too, like another Jeopardy stream or something like that. I think that might not be a bad idea either. You know, maybe get maybe get Aryeh, maybe even get Bert. I'm sure if I hit up Bert, he'd answer me. You know, I'm a succulent young man. Um, I'm a dapper young lad. So he'd probably he'd probably answer me if I DM'd him. Or like I don't know, somebody else. You know, maybe a Jeopardy stream with some of the season 3 and season 4 people, you know, or maybe just whoever wants to be involved in it, you know, just something fun to do that gets people together and we can all shoot the shit and have a good time, you know. I'll see about doing something like that on the sooner side. Oh yeah, I want to do an all-nighter stream as well. And what I mean by that is I want to be able to do a stream where I start at say like 5 p.m. right on like a Friday and I don't end until like 5 a.m. on a Sunday. I do a 24-hour stream. The issue is I don't want to do a 24-hour stream on anywhere other than the fish tank site. And I would be honest with you, I don't think I'm allowed on the fish tank site. You know, I've tried to get on there. I can't seem to get a straight answer. So I'm just going to assume that I'm not allowed on the fish tank site. It's whatever, you know, whatever, cry about it, I guess. So because of that, I don't know that I want to try to do another 24-hour stream. But I could do an all-night stream, a 12-hour stream, because I feel like I could pack enough in that 12 hours, even if it is all night, and like a lot of people are going to be asleep and stuff like that. I could do it. Excuse me. Jeez. I could do it at a time where it's like, okay, people are getting off of work or something like that, you know? I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow. I might just say fuck it and make it tomorrow, but it depends on a couple of different things. It depends on a couple of different things, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know. But thank you guys so much for being here. I am gonna head out now. I will talk to you guys later, and until next time, peace out.